following broadcast has been approved by Outcasted OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, guys? How's it going? Welcome back to Thursday or Friday if you're on that side of the world. Shout out to Courtney. After an amazing Royal Rumble pay-per-view, we are here to discuss the Royal Rumble. All 4 matches. I know, what a long pay-per-view that was, right? Absolutely fabulous. First and foremost, how are we all doing? What did we all think of the pay-per-view? I'm going to go to G first. What did you think of it? I saw you streaming live.
No, I'm joking. I was gonna do that after Jey Uso really win, and then I'm like, actually, I was so excited that Jey Uso won. So, yeah, I really enjoyed the pay-per-view. Like, at first going into Royal Rumble, I was like, 4 matches, is it gonna be good? And then I realised like both the Rumble matches could take over an hour anyway, and then the ladder match could have been a long match, and the other one was 2 out of 3 falls, so that could take time because obviously we have to get to the 2 out of 3 falls, and getting to 1 can take some time sometimes. So I was a bit like on the edge going into this pay-per-view, but it actually was a really, really solid start to the year. I'm really happy with all of the outcomes, happy with the people that turned up, which we can get onto a bit more into the podcast. But yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed Rumble. It is literally my favourite pay-per-view of the year. So yeah, it showed up and it showed out for me.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Court, have you got the same sentiments?
Yeah, so life has been hella busy, it's been hella stressful lately, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. Wrestling has not been on the priority list in terms of keeping up with it the way that I usually do. So going into Rumble this year, I kind of knew a little bit about what was going on, kind of didn't really know much, but I was like, I'm still gonna go into it anyway, because as G said, Rumble's one of her favorite events. It's one of mine as well, because I just love that excitement and the unpredictability of where things could go. So I enjoyed the show for the most part. Obviously, I'll get into more of my thoughts when we do the podcast. But I was just going to say, G, you almost turning on Jey Uso was not on my 2025 card. I was like, where is this going? I was like, she loved him last year, but you can't just switch up on him when he's won.
I was literally going to do the, did Jey Uso really?
Yeah, that's why I reacted the way I did.
That's cool, aren't they? Honestly, like, you want
that's why I went to you first, dude.
Like, no, I don't want it anymore, you know? But yeah, for the most part, I thought it was pretty good. Liked what I saw.
Good. I'm glad. Ross, what about you?
All in all, really good. I mean, I won't lie. I was absolutely shattered that day, so I had parts where I dipped in and out of sleep, but that's just because my body hated me. But I did go back and watch it like literally the day after, so I had to catch up on things I did miss.
And it's a great
I did the exact same thing.
Netflix.
Like I'm not joking. G looked across at me and said she was like, you fell asleep for 5-minute intervals for 20 times in a row.
Listen, I can't understand how you were so tired because you literally did nothing all day and then came home and did nothing.
And then I had to work all day and watched it straight after.
Had to go to this high class freaking work event at a fancy hotel in some fancy dress and heels with loads of parents and things, and I didn't get home till 11:15. 15 minutes before it started, I jumped straight in my trackies and jumped on the sofa.
She made it happen. What's your excuse, Russ?
I don't have one. My body decided to go, it's time to shut off. Like, my whole experience of Royal Rumble was I kept doing the fucking Windows update where it was like, I'd be up for a few seconds, then it'd be like, oh, time to restart again.
Your body should have just gone ahead and said, let's get ready to rumble. And then you would have been...
It should have.
It didn't.
I
disappointing.
I did wake up when it was I did wake up when it was the important parts. I really popped for a lot of the people I was excited for. I kind of overexcited myself as well. Like I over-expected things and certain things didn't deliver that. I was like, oh, okay, I understand. I overhyped it myself. Like I lulled myself into a false sense of security.
Yeah,
for a couple of
manage our expectations, I think.
Yeah. But all in all, I think this was a lot stronger Royal Rumble. This is a good return to form of Royal Rumbles like last year's and this year's. Because trust me, Royal Rumbles used to be hell to go through. All I have to say, 2014 to 2018's Royal Rumbles was hell on earth to go through. So
from 2014 all the way up to 2023. I think last year's one was when we started to see it turn for the best.
Yeah.
You guys remember the 2022 Royal Rumble? We're not going.
That doesn't exist. Don't.
We could go. That, my friend, is hell on earth.
Well, Ross, I'm glad that you enjoyed the 15-man Royal Rumble. I mean, like, you know, that I could say that and you wouldn't be able to disagree with me because you was asleep for half of it. But seeing as OG jumped straight into the track is at the start of the Rumble, let's jump straight into the match card, shall we? Great transition. Let's talk about the women's Royal Rumble match, the first match that opened the card. We had several records broken in this match. Bayley went from the all-time record breaker for lasting the longest in a women's Royal Rumble to the 4th all-time lasting in a women's Royal Rumble, as Roxanne Perez, Liv Morgan, and Io Sky all broke her record. Now, I'm not sure if that was intentional, that it overran a little bit, but that's what happened. But Roxanne Perez, shout out to her. She broke the all-time record, 1 hour, 7 minutes. Over 1 hour, 7 minutes. Unbelievable performance from her, with the eventual winner being Charlotte Flair. Now, Courtney, I'm going to go to you. What do you think of this result? Was you happy about it? And was there anything in particular about this Rumble that you liked in particular?
So I feel indifferent about the Charlotte win. I think I don't know how to word this without, like, I'm not trying to be rude, but I just don't think she needed to be the one to be the 2-time Royal Rumble winner. Personally, for me, I saw her road to WrestleMania going a little bit differently. I actually potentially saw her winning the Chamber, because that's something that she's barely participated in and she hasn't won. So I feel like that definitely could have been an accolade that she could have to her name, and people would be like, okay, cool. Like, you know, she survived the Chamber with 5 other women. Totally makes sense. I mean, I'm indifferent about the fact that she won. I think if this is how she's going to go to WrestleMania, that's fine. I think her reaction on Raw probably shows how a lot of the WWE universe is feeling. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but she got booed so badly. She was trying to be a babyface early on in that promo, and she got booed out of the building. So I hope that they can transition her into more of a heel, because I think she just suits being a heel a little bit more. Narcissistic, kind of gets everything she wants. You know, she knows that she's great. In terms of Roxanne Perez, I definitely think she has a massive 2025 ahead of her. I don't think that they would have had her be the last one in the Rumble alongside Charlotte Flair if they didn't know that she could hang with the best of them, and if they didn't have big plans for her. She'd said in a promo backstage after the Rumble something about being on the main roster, so maybe this is her quietly being called up, because I definitely think after Vengeance Day and maybe Stand and Deliver that she's definitely main roster bound. As for the Rumble itself, I want to say off the bat, I enjoyed the little graphics at the bottom of the screen where it said who the person was, said how many people were still in, because I cannot tell you how many times watching Rumbles in the past, I've forgotten who's in the ring. I can't count how many people in the ring. I don't know how many people have been eliminated. So that NFL style match graphic was so helpful for those Rumble matches, and I really hope that's something that they can continue with moving on, because that just gave it that real sports-like feel for me.
Yeah.
I
Obviously,
like that you touched on that.
Yeah, obviously the returns that we got, you know, Alexa Bliss, I was stoked to see her back. She got such a great reaction. Trish Stratus, I was a little indifferent about that too, because I didn't really know why. Not to say that she didn't deserve to come back, but I didn't necessarily see it in the cards for her going into it. And Nikki Bella returning as well was quite cool. I hope that they can capitalize off of her coming back. I'd love to see her answering that Open Divas challenge that Chelsea Green has got going on. That would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
Thrilled to see my girl Jordan in there. She looked phenomenal. She looked fantastic. I loved the storyline with her and Naomi, and then Bianca getting really jealous. I almost feel as though that can lead into what's happened with Jade. Surprised Jade didn't return. That would have made so much sense, but I mean, it is what it is. NXT women, love to see those ladies get called up into the match as well too. But yeah, all in all, I thought it was really good. There was a few people that came in that I was kind of a bit like, felt like a bit of a waste spot for me. But one person I am going to say, thoroughly impressed with Ivy Nile. Incredible performance in that match. She did so well, and I think she's definitely going to be going after Lyra for that Intercontinental Championship for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm happy that she did have a performance, because last week, obviously, I touched on. I thought that Ivy Nile should and would have a good performance in the Rumble. I mean, I threw out like a bit of a maybe outside bet that maybe she would be the Iron Woman. She wasn't, but she did well in the Rumble regardless.
100%
Yeah.
I just want to touch on a couple of things that you said. First of all, I agree with the whole Charlotte Flair thing in terms of being booed, trying to come out as a babyface. I thought it really showed the professionalism and the way she's so used to dealing with a crowd. The way she was able to pivot into more of a heel promo on Raw, and then on NXT. I don't know if you guys saw it, and now I don't know if that was the point of her character at the beginning. But again, I feel like she's transitioning into more of a heel because that's what the business wants at the moment, and that's what the crowd want. And I think it works the best. I don't like the fact that sometimes when you have someone who's clearly being booed, they try to push them down your throat as a babyface, and vice versa.
Hulk Hogan at the Raw premiere.
Yeah, exactly that. Another thing that I want to touch on quickly, what you just said there, is the signatures at the bottom when it was telling you how many people in the Rumble. I did like that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, but here's a question for you. Do you think that maybe takes away a little bit of magic from the Rumble? Now, I'll pose this to you. Let's go all the way back to 2011. If you knew how many people was in the ring at the time, because that's what the signature was telling you, it wouldn't have been a surprise when Santino Marella came from behind and nearly eliminated Alberto. Like that takes away a lot. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like sometimes I think less is more. I did enjoy seeing the statistics and how long this person's been in and that person's been, but sometimes I like to kind of get lost in the action, and then when let's say someone gets eliminated, I'm like, oh shit, they're in the Rumble. I forgot about that.
I think it's more for the casual fans.
Yeah,
for the people that
I
are
agree.
starting to watch wrestling because it's on Netflix, and I think because of the guy, I think it's Lee Fitting, who's in charge of all of that visual kind of production, how it's been seen on TV. I think definitely that was a decision that he's made, seeing he's come from sports broadcasting. So I mean, I can see why they did it. I think for myself, it's super helpful in terms of knowing who's in the ring and how many people are still left to come. I think that's why they've done it, because it can be quite confusing for those who are trying to keep up with it in terms of that aspect. But as you said, for you, if you're trying to get lost in the shuffle, then you can just ignore that.
Well, like you say, like with it moving to Netflix, it has definitely made it easier for a lot of people to watch. So it's definitely brought in a lot of new watchers and old watchers returning because there's an easier way for them to watch it now. A pure prime example of that is my dad. So my dad stopped watching wrestling many years ago, like a long time ago. And I told him the Royal Rumble was on this weekend. He literally sent me a picture Sunday morning. I'm watching the end of the Men's Rumble on Netflix, G. I was like, what? You haven't watched wrestling in years. But because it's there and easy to access now, he went and watched it.
Hell yeah. 250 million users on Netflix, so a lot of people can get a hold of wrestling if they haven't been a part of it for a long time.
Also, to just add to your point, Reese,
I was about to come to you anyway, Ross. Go on. You just say your points, yeah.
Yeah. So with you saying about the graphics thing, what you'll actually realize is you still can get lost in the shuffle because they only say the person's name. They don't actually say when they'll say their name and their number. But there was multiple times where LA Knight wasn't shown when he actually did enter. You know how he delayed his entrance and stuff like that. So there is still ways with the graphics there that it doesn't show them straight away enter. They can still mess about and be like, oh, remember this person came in. Like if we take the graphic, Akira Tozawa technically never lost the Rumble because they never said he entered and he never lost because Speed came in
for Akira Tozawa, my friend.
So we will get to that segment very, very soon.
I think the graphic stuff is really good. And I think it was just a very easier way to get into the pay-per-view, and a lot more casual fans, or for people who have been long-term fans. A lot of people do what's referred to as Royal Rumble drinking games, and that graphic board makes it so much easier for people who are doing the drinking games of you dedicate a number. If they're eliminated, you take a drink. Do you know how easy that board was to actually work that out? I needed that.
We don't.
I needed that.
Yeah, we don't condone.
Screwed me. I needed that.
Drink at your own expense if you are of legal age. Obviously, we don't condone saying go do that with your pay-per-views. It's just
You can do it with water. That works.
or do it with water. Yeah.
Or
or a Pepsi.
We'll get into that in the men's rumble.
I heard you took a different approach to a drinking game this year, Ross. Like every time someone entered the Rumble, you fell asleep.
Oh, man. It weren't that bad. It weren't that bad. Okay.
It was that bad that Reese was on live with me and you were asleep. I showed him.
Yeah, you did. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I crashed. I can't help it. Like,
he had his first crash out moment.
I'm too old. I'm too old for this shit now.
Anyway,
I'm the oldest person here.
Let's get back to the
that was
guys.
the point.
Oh, that's
Also,
key.
I just wanted to say I also really appreciated the graphics showing how many people they were eliminating, because it was really cool to see like Chelsea Green was up, and like because a lot of people were giving flack to her, just being like, oh, she's going to be kind of one of them throwaways. Yet
she wasn't this year.
She wasn't. She stood out. She was quite consistent, and she was leading the charge for most eliminations until Nia Jax happened. So
put some respect on her name.
Yeah, I want to know your thoughts on the Nia,
my friend.
I want to hear your thoughts on the Nia spot, Ross. I don't know if you noticed Io kind of just give up and fall off the apron.
Yeah, Io was just like, well, fuck it, I'll finish it off, Nia. Yeah, you've done your spot. Okay, I'm too tired now. Let's go.
Io just falls off the apron.
Over an hour, my friend. You just gotta admit the cardio has to be there to be able to be in that match for that long.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't get me wrong. I liked the spot because it showed, even though Nia was going to lose the Rumble, that she is a strong contender.
Yeah.
To be worried about, especially with someone that's potentially going against her like Rhea. However, powerhouse first powerhouse. That's how you show a powerhouse. Get her in a Royal Rumble. Throw 5 to 6 people out of the ring like that. Yeah, instantly she's going to be looked at as like, cool, yeah, she's a strong contender. We understand why them two are going against each other. It was the same for Jordan Grace. I said to G, how they built Jordan Grace in that Rumble match. The fact she had someone on her back. Yeah. I was going to say, the KD on freaking Piper Niven. And then you also had the freaking, she was just lariat, like clotheslining people while someone was just casually on Jordan Grace's back. She's just smacking them all down.
She had a good showing, which I'm glad.
Yeah,
she did.
That's how you build powerhouses right. That's how you get those spots. So for me, Nia doing what she did, that's kind of what I saw out of the Rumble, but I thought that's how she was going to win. Obviously, color me surprised she didn't, because I was between 3 people to win, but I obviously ultimately went with Charlotte because I was like, they've gave a vignette. They've teased it. She's been away for a year.
It literally, for me, as soon as she got the fucking pyro, I was like, "Yep, she's winning it."
Yeah,
damn it! I was like, I know it's part of her entrance, but I'm like, no one else has gotten anything special.
Yeah, legit. I was just like, "Oh, here we go." Yeah,
like, you just
it was a case of we were like, "Oh, Charlotte's coming back. They've announced she's coming back. We're gonna get something better, so she's not gonna win."
Yeah. We all said the opposite until it actually came to predictions. We all just went, you know what? Yeah, Charlotte's winning.
Do you have anything more to add to the Rumble, G?
I don't know. I think for me personally, the women's Rumble was the best match out of the entire show. I think it showed up, it showed out. It was the most entertaining one. The women showed up and showed out. Nikki Bella was great. Trish Stratus was a bit of an odd one, but then we expect the Hall of Famers every now and again, don't we? Alexa Bliss's return was fabulous, Fiend forever, can't argue with that.
The new doll looks really cool
the new Lily doll, it's always have A6 on it, and I've seen that she's going to go to SmackDown now. So she was supposed to be going to Raw, but they're now reporting that she's going to SmackDown, so I wonder if she's going to have something to do with the White Six. Maybe they've changed.
I hope.
Don't know, but I'm excited to see what she does regardless, and I'm very happy that she's back. I feel like a little piece of me is back. And what else? Jordan Grace's debut, that was awesome. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy Charlotte won. I can't lie. You guys know that hurt coming out of my mouth. You know I'm not a big Charlotte fan. But I am happy she won. And I think we need to think of it this way. Don't look at it as because it all depends who she goes against at WrestleMania. So if she picks Rhea, then okay, whatever. But if she picks Tiffany, I would look at it more as I think she's going to put Tiffany over rather than take the belt herself.
Yeah,
So
I've been saying that for days since day one
yeah,
when it comes to her and Tiffany.
That's how I'm seeing it. So don't think of it as, oh, she's come back, she's going to get the gold. I genuinely think she's come back to put Tiffany over. So, yeah, that's it. I really enjoyed the Women's Rumble. Really, really enjoyed it. Oh, and one thing as well, when I was sat there, I had this power of being able to call who was coming next. Like, I did it so many times.
Right.
Process of elimination. It's not a power. You knew half the entrance.
No.
We didn't. No. I literally went, I think we'll see Lash Legend, and she was literally the next entrance. It was good.
You
I
had
love
the
Lash
cheat from
Legend.
WWE. I'm
not
telling you that
joking.
much.
She's got it as video evidence. She literally went, "Oh, you know why they've just like kicked out this person? It's because they're gonna make Nikki Bella number 30."
I literally went.
And then what fucking happened?
Trish Stratus got eliminated. And I went, oh, you know why they've just eliminated Trish? Because Nikki Bella's coming at 30, and 30 was the next entrance, and it was Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
So,
I want to quickly go to your point about the whole Charlotte thing before we get on to Reese's thoughts. I'm going to keep this real short and sweet. People were saying the same thing about when Rhea had won the Rumble a couple of years ago, and they were like, oh, she's not going to put Rhea over. I 100% was like, she's putting Rhea over, and she did that.
yeah.
So I think people in two minds about it in terms of if it goes up against Tiffany, she's going to get the belt straight away.
Yeah.
I think Charlotte's at a point in her career where, yeah, sure, she could get that 15th title, but I don't think she's necessarily in a rush to do so. And I think she can see the value in lifting up somebody else in their career, then I think that would be great because she can see the business moving forward and sees the ladies that are coming up and saying, actually, when I'm not here, like I haven't been here for a year and a half, these are the ladies that people are watching. These are the ladies that people are needing to get invested in, and they need to be built up. I do think that we are going to see that Rhea EO storyline happen differently, obviously, from what's happened on Raw.
Yeah.
People have been calling me stupid for saying on TikTok that I want to see that match and that it doesn't have potential. How dumb do you feel now, knowing that it's just been teased on WWE's Raw?
Yeah, exactly.
I was just about to say, like, when I get to my points, I was going to say, like, for a while, I wanted Charlotte versus Tiffany until Raw. Like, I started until that promo. Like, I kind of want that now. I mean, I'm going to have to obviously save my judgment till SmackDown to see what she does with Tiffany. But that Rhea promo was amazing. I like the fact that Rhea took control of the situation and said, "Please pick me." Yeah, like I actually said, "I want you to pick me." Like, you know,
I've never really seen that before.
Exactly. Like, and I think that to get like a final blow off, like a WrestleMania trio of Charlotte versus Rhea would be great. Would I want Charlotte to beat her? No. I don't think so. No, I don't think it's time for Rhea to drop the title just yet. And I think there's other people on Raw that probably have a better shout at that championship. Please God, not Liv Morgan again. But I enjoyed the Rumble.
Hold on. Sorry, what? I thought you were on this Liv Morgan train.
I'm on the Liv Morgan train, but can we please, like, you know, press a button that changes the direction of the tracks away from Rhea Ripley, please?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought you were saying you didn't want her to be champion again, and I'm like, what the fuck?
So,
like,
I was going to say,
no.
The way you worded it made it sound like you didn't want Liv to be champ, not that you didn't want Liv versus Rhea.
I don't want Liv Morgan to be champion on Raw again. No, I don't. Not for a while. Like,
I can't
take her over to SmackDown, like, or NXT or something. Not on Raw. I'm sick of the Raw title run for Liv. A couple more shout outs in the Women's Rumble for me. Like you said, with Jordan Grace, I thought Jordan Grace did fantastic. If it was me, I am happy that Charlotte won. I don't know why everyone's so butthurt about it, but if it was me, I would have called an audible as soon as I heard the reaction for Alexa Bliss, because I don't think they expected the reaction she was going to get. I mean, I would argue and say probably pop of the night. Definitely, like out of everybody. And there was some loud pops for everyone, maybe even louder than Jey Uso's pop when he won the Rumble. Alexa Bliss, I think maybe an audible should have been called. Alexa Bliss wins the Rumble. In terms of like my thoughts of Bliss, I wanted to stay away from the Wyatts. I know everyone likes Little Miss Bliss. I like the fact that she's paying homage to Bray Wyatt. Hang on a minute, sorry, Alexa. Shut up. It's because I said a goddamn name.
Just say AB from this point onwards if you don't want to
right. Yeah, I don't think Bliss should be part of the Whites. I didn't like it when she was Sister Abigail or when she was with Lily. Personally, I didn't think it worked very well. I thought she should go back to a 5 Feet of Fury. In my opinion, I think that's when she did the best work. I think it's when she was at the top, the tippy top of the women's division in like 2017, 2018. I thought she did great work there. Who else am I calling out?
Has the Goddess theme song back? She doesn't have that other Death Rebel one that she had when she
left.
Oh
god, that was awful. Yeah, throw that in the bin and let's pretend that never happened. It was awful.
Do you know they also changed Jada Parker's theme song for the Rumble?
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't like it. I want to talk about a couple of theme songs a little bit later on because I think it was more prominent in the men's Rumble. But I want to talk about the fact that shout out to Nia Jax because I believe now she has got the all-time record overall eliminations. I think she has 9 maybe now. In the Rumble, which is kind of crazy. I think that's dope. Shout out to Nia Jax for doing that. It just adds to what you guys were saying about she is a monster in that ring. I think she's done really well. Io Sky, Liv Morgan, fair play. Lasted all that time, like over an hour in that ring. Did really, really well. There's probably some other people that I'm forgetting about. Oh, all the NXT call-ups: Stephanie McCurr, Julia, Jada Parker, Lash Legend, like making the impact on that match, and Roxanne Perez especially being in the final 2. The final 2, fantastic, man. She deserves it. I was saying on a video a couple of days ago that it's been a long year. I mean, this time last year I was dogging on Roxanne Perez because I think she was still a bit green. I didn't think she was deserving of the championship, and I have totally done a 180 on Roxanne Perez this year.
I was going to say, you full flipped the script, you did,
Yeah. He had his head, now he's changed his mind.
100%. I mean, I'm man enough to admit when I've changed my mind. Like I say, I'm not a biased guy. Like when I see something that I'm enjoying, I'll tell you. And even if it's someone that I'm like, I know I didn't like, or like my opinion's changing, I'm not embarrassed to change my opinion. It's fine to be wrong. It's fine to be corrected or shown that someone's made improvement. That's the whole point of the wrestling business, right? Like, a lot of people, exactly. Like, I mean, I didn't like it when like Pat McAfee was facing Adam Cole, but it turned out to be a great match. So like, you know, I wasn't complaining about it. And now Pat McAfee is part of WWE every single week, and he's great. So shout out to Pat McAfee.
I definitely think.
Go on.
I was just gonna say, I definitely think after Roxanne showing at the Rumble, I 100% believe she is main roster.
I should have it out.
Well, she's got one last NXT match, which is against Cora next week.
I think
it's the Vengeance Day Fatal 4-Way or Triple Threat. You got Bayley, Julia, and Roxanne. I think maybe Cora's in it.
Yeah.
I think that's how they'll bring her up to face Bayley at WrestleMania, possibly.
To be quite honest with you, I don't. I mean, I thought she was coming up to the main roster before the Rumble. To be honest, like, she completed her run in NXT. There's nothing really for her to do anymore, and I think she's been in like a holding pattern for the past couple of months, just because that division is so stacked. There is no need for Roxanne Perez. To be honest with you, there's no need for Jordan Gray. She should be on the main roster immediately.
Yes, 100%.
That you do not need those type of people. But I mean, we've talked about the women's Rumble enough now. It's been like we've talked about it for ages. Let's move on to a match where, in my opinion, is going to be more of a brief conversation, just because I thought this match was quite disappointing that it didn't get the time that it deserved. I want to talk about the 2 out of 3 falls match, Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY.
So good,
Ross. I'm gonna go to you. Like, I want you to give your opinion on it. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So good, except it was short-lived. Like, I feel like the second fall was so rushed, and then when we got into the third one, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be the moment." Street Profits turn heel. I'm like, okay, amazing, love that. Fuck. The storyline's now dead for Motor City Machine Guns because they've just lost twice in a row. The credibility is donezo. Because, sorry, they're now going to do a one-off of Street Profits versus Motor City Machine Gun to squash this, like, oh, you turned heel on us, whatever. You know for a fact, Street Profits are just going to be like, bye Motor City, we're focusing on DIY now, which sucks for me because what I personally want this to turn into is a tornado tag team match, like triple threat between MCMG, Street Profits, and DIY, and I finally want Street Profits to get their title back. It's been like,
it may be at WrestleMania, my guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I hope that's what it is at Mania. But like, it's been 5 years for Street Profits. I'm glad they've turned heel. They're mixing it up. I'm happy for that. But it took away from great tag team wrestling. I would have been happy if a solid winner just won that match because they've been given us solid matches on SmackDown. And then we keep getting these cheap heel quick turns. I don't want this booking like Bloodline stuff again, where a cheap win happens or we're robbed of a solid win. I would have rather the solid winner, then Street Profits turn up and attack whoever won.
Just to touch on that, like I thought, initially I thought it was a heel turn, but then when I really thought about it, I wasn't sure. I mean, I know they were wearing black, like that means they're heel, like, do you know what I mean? But they attacked both teams.
I think it's a justified heel turn. I think they got done dirty and didn't get their tag team rematch against DIY. They got ignored out of being in the tag team contenders match as well. Motor City Machine Guns completely jumped the line, pushing Street Profits even further back, and got the titles off the Bloodline, even though Street Profits should have had a chance against the Bloodline. So what I think it is, it's a more of a tweener booking. It's that they're still going to be to the crowd like we love the crowd. They are us, but at the same time, we're taking justice into our own hand. If Aldis ain't going to do it, we'll do it. We'll take out the guys that are jumping the gun. So the only opportunities left are us. That's how I think they're booking them.
You notice that's how Triple H does all his heel bookings, right?
A lot of the
Drew McIntyre is. People like Drew McIntyre, but they understand why he's so jaded and why he's so upset and why he's a troll online and why he does what he does because of the fact that he's been screwed over so many times. I think that's the difference between the previous booking of a heel to this booking of a heel is like we actually can understand why. And not only that, we resonate with it because there's probably been situations in our life too where we've had moments where someone has taken advantage of us or jumped the line, as you say, or they get something before we do. And that makes us feel really upset and frustrated that we want to act out in that way too. So it's completely justified. In terms of like where they go, I don't really know. Like
always the best kind of villains. And I think it's happened throughout TV show wrestling for years, but I think the best example is maybe like the Thanos theory. I think everyone knew that Thanos was like legitimately the bad guy, but we all kind of understood what he was saying. Like we get it. Like, you know, like we're not rooting for you, but I see what you're saying. You've got a point. Like, and that is the best kind of bad guys. Like the ones that are doing it from like from a motivational point of view, like say with your Drew McIntyres, with even at this point, your Kevin Owens. Like Kevin Owens may be the best example in WWE right now.
Right. I need to hop on that. I need to hop on this because I sent such a freaking good edit to you guys this morning of a Kevin Owens and Kevin Owens heel turn stuff. So they used a very particular anime villain song, which is called Aizen. A lot of people don't know this, but Bleach Aizen, he was this good guy to everyone. He looked after everyone, and he looked like the nicest person you could be around. Plot twist, he was an absolute menace, wanted to destroy absolutely everyone in the world around him. And the comparison of that song playing to Kevin Owens doing what he was doing is so extra level because Kevin Owens has been this tactical, justified bad guy from the whole beginning. It's you want to destroy my world, fine. I'm taking the rest of the world down around you. You want these pillars. You want these people who are the faces of the company. I'm not going to give you any faces of the company until it's my face. The fact that he's done it to all the people he's loved as well shows that he has gone so delusional for the business that he doesn't care for friendship anymore. He's thrown that to the wayside.
Do you think maybe he's just gotten inspiration from this anime character? Like,
I don't.
I mean,
think
I'm gonna go right, but before we get into this, I think, funnily enough, we have got a Kevin Owens match coming up. So like, just so
yeah,
like,
we'll get more into it on that.
yeah. Like, let's save this
there.
for the Kevin Owens match, because we'll get lost in the sauce and we'll completely forget about the tag team division, which I don't want to do. I think that there's enough legitimate tag teams there and I know they did it last year, but you know, like if the opportunity is there, do it. I would have a ladder match at WrestleMania for the SmackDown.
Yes, bring it back. I would love that.
Yeah, I mean, who have you got there? You've got the Bloodline. You got Tangaloa and Tamatonga, or Jacob Fatu, whoever you want to throw in there. You've got Pretty Deadly. You got Los Garza. You've got, like you say, DIY, Motor City Machine Gun, Street Profits. Like, you know, there's enough tag teams there on SmackDown to have a legitimate.
Down under.
Yeah, if they want to go back to SmackDown. Oh, we know they've gone to Raw, right? They've gone to Raw.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you know what you could put in as the other team though, if you wanted to?
Hmm?
Put Fraxium in there.
I literally just said Fraxium as well. Yeah, like,
yeah, I'm down for that.
And you know, if we really want to spice it up, you could also get, you know, a TNA tag team in there.
Fuck it, just put the Hardys in there. Or the Nemesis
Yeah,
brothers.
I was going to say you forgot New Day, but they're Raw.
Hardys in there.
I wasn't even gonna say the Hardys. I was gonna say, give me the freaking. I think they're called like the System now. It's like
yeah.
Matt Cardona's best mate. I can never. Brian Myers. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like his tag team. I'd love to see.
Shout out to Dirty Dango making his way on NXT.
Yeah, that was so
yes.
dope.
Anyway,
G, what did you think of the tag team match?
I enjoyed it. It was a good match. Honestly, the highlight for me for that match was Street Profits coming back. I am a huge Street Profits fan, and I've been saying for months, when are they coming back? Where are they? What are they doing? And I didn't realise that one of them was injured. But I always enjoyed the Street Profits tag team runs before, and I think it's time they get them back and they do it again. So, but yeah, the match was good. DIY had a good showing. Motor City Machine Guns had a good showing. There were some really good spots in the match. But yeah, my highlight was Street Profits coming back. That sold it for me. So
very good spots in the match. You can tell these guys are like pros in the tag division, honestly, especially with the Motor City Machine Guns. Literally writing the blueprint for all modern day tag teams, in my opinion. You got Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley just absolutely putting on a clinic every single week on SmackDown, no matter who they're with. And I think it really shone when they had some great dance partners at DIY. Like I said, not that much time given, but in the time that they were given, they fitted a lot of stuff in. Court, you got anything for that?
I think for me, this was in a situation where, like, it doesn't matter how good the tag match was, how good the people are in it. I think the tag match being straight after like an hour plus long Rumble, I think the fans obviously being so excited for the Rumble match may have been a little bit tired during the tag match, using that as an opportunity to kind of regain their excitement and enthusiasm. I think when that first fall happened and Alicia Taylor had said like DIY have scored the first fall, I think people didn't really know what was going on. There was no like crowd reaction to what had happened. I think the match was in a position where on the card it suffered from being after the Rumble match, and I just think people just weren't as excited for it as they could be, which is a real disservice to both teams, because both DIY and MCMG, like, not only do they know how to tag team wrestle really well, but they did really good chemistry together. And so I think maybe this was the right match to have, but the wrong place for it potentially. I think maybe it did suffer by being on Rumble just because of how big the Rumble is in itself anyway. I don't know where else you could have had it, whether you could have extended it for another show or something. But yeah, I think it kind of suffered just from the crowd's lack of reaction. And obviously when the Street Profits came back, that was kind of cool. But I feel like Triple H has a real template of how he likes to do his like finishes and his DQs, and bringing in all these different heel factions, that it kind of never really makes you feel truly satisfied. And that's kind of how I felt at the end of the tag match.
I think when you say the crowd was dead for that fall, by the way, I completely agree that obviously the crowd was tired, but I imagine it was quite hard to follow in the stadium as well, because it was quite a confusing fall. But shout out to the spot, because it was cool, that fake tag. So I believe it was Shelley went after Gargano, right? But it was actually Ciampa that was legal.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how they got the fall. I thought that was an
Yeah.
interesting way. I've not really seen that much before, and I didn't catch it myself until Michael Cole explained in the replay. So
Yeah.
I think that's why the crowd were confused about it.
Because I think they just thought the match was just over. They were like, what? Like, is it over already? Because some people don't really understand what a 2 out of 3 falls match is, you know?
Yeah, so it was impressive enough, and I just wish it was given a bit more time, but I can understand why it wasn't, because you had three massive matches on this card, and that just happened to it was a filler match. It was, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
But speaking of a match that absolutely delivered and then some, let's go on to the ladder match for the Undisputed WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes, the champion, defended against Kevin Owens. G, I'm going to go to you. What did you think of this match?
This match was absolutely brutal, if I am completely honest. Like, some of the spots Kevin and Cody did closer to the end of the match, I was like, how are they even getting back up and carrying on at this point? It was honestly a really good match. Kevin absolutely busted his face open as well. And I didn't see the point in Sammy coming out. Like, okay, yeah, I get it. He was there to support his friend and help his friend and stuff. But nothing really happened. But obviously then stuff happened on Raw. So, yeah. But the point, I didn't really see the point in Sammy coming out. Other than that, great match. We knew Cody was going to win. Absolutely gutted that Cody won, not going to lie. But, yeah, good match.
It was great. Shout out to that. I believe it was the Death Valley driver through like the point of the ladder that holds it up. Oh, Jesus Christ. That looks painful, dude. That looks awful. It was. I don't even know if it was meant to look that awful, but it did. Ross, what did you think of it?
Genuinely one of the biggest highlights for me. If the women's wasn't as good as it was, that would have been my match of the night, because I love a good match that tells that story of the baby faces going to that level of brutality they shouldn't be going to. Like, Cody finally had that gear turn and that brain snap of the, oh, you want to go that level of dirty, we'll go that level of dirty. Kevin Owens having that spot right in the freaking edge of the ladder, just like the slam of his back that we saw, as you said, the Death Valley driver. I think the whole match delivered, very much on the same as G. Seeing Sami Zayn there, and I saw that weird ref spot where it looked like the ref was delaying himself, and it looked like I was about to be like, Sammy's going to grab the foot, or Sammy's going to get involved. It looked like he was about to, and then it didn't happen. I was like, what the fuck? That felt so ending the way it shouldn't have ended. Like, because, you know, like, Kevin Owens was out on the floor and that, and Sammy was just screaming at him, get up, and all of this. And it's like, okay, but if he's not, stop the ref. Give him time to get up. Like, jump Cody. There's no DQ. You could do it. Like,
I think it was very fitting of his character, though, right? Because, like, obviously, at the minute, Sammy.
And I get that, because obviously of what it leads up into and the storylines it was going to. But part of me just felt like, oh, you could play into this more. Sammy could hesitate to go to the ref, get in the ring, and then Cody be like, what the hell are you doing? And then we could have played into that, like Cody being pissed at Sammy. And then Sammy's like, I'm in the middle. Like, you two mean a lot to me. I don't know what you want me to do, type of thing. But
I appreciate that. I get both sides of it. I do. I honestly thought Sammy was going to do something as well.
Like, and this is the thing. But the best thing out of this, and I think we're all right on the cusp of what could be a generational turn. He was so close to doing Homelander-esque stuff.
I think so.
The heel-ness that he did at the end of that, I'm sorry, to look back, see a dead-ass body in the ladder, and go, fuck it. With both belts, stand above him on the commentary table and wave them in front of him. That's how I know my ego, and I know I just beat your ass. Like,
yeah, but I think it's less of a heel and more of just like a, I'm not going to be pushed over any more babyface. You know, like this person has done so much to him to the point where it's driven him to act like that. We know
Let's
that
get
he's
into your
not
thoughts,
like
Scott. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I like that perspective on it because I didn't see it like that. How I interpreted it is you've already pretty much murdered that guy. You knew you solidified and got the belt. You could have taken the belts and walked. It's the fact of he stood there for a moment, looked, thought about it, and then didn't hesitate after. He walked over him and went, "Yeah, I'm gonna stare you down and do it." That's
I think it was more him doing it, like, not just on his behalf, but like he's also doing it because Randy's his friend, and think about how Randy's been screwed over because of Kevin Owens. Like, this isn't just, he's not getting this aggression out just for him. This is for everything you've done to my friends. This is everything you've done to my family. This is like everything's just overflowing at this point.
Yeah, no, and for that, I 100% respect that take because that's not something that came to my mind instantly. Because I don't know if it's just because I've seen how Cody Rhodes has played heels in the past, and this is very much how he worked himself into being a heel. But I love that take on it because I think that is a very unique way they could definitely build the story, especially now after what happened on Raw, seeing Kevin Owens come back out and drop Sammy. Cody could easily go, okay, you want to run this back? I beat the crap out of you once before and stood above you with my belts held high. You want to now go attack everyone else that you said you care about? Fine, let's do it. Let's go again. I could see
I'm going to meet you
happening.
halfway on this and say that you're both right. I think that Cody Rhodes is moving into more of a heelish way, especially after that promo with Punk on Raw. I thought that was the best work of his run so far in WWE in terms of on the microphone. And I also get the point of, like, you know, I'm not going to be pushed around anymore. Like, I'm not going to take it. And that kind of leans into what he was saying to Punk. At the same time, I do think we're probably going to maybe see a heel Cody Rhodes by the end of the year, maybe as early as SummerSlam. And I know they would be a bit crazy to do it, seeing as though the amount of merch he sells. But at the end of the day, I think like you introduce a character there that you can really get invested in. I mean, no one thought Roman Reigns was going to turn heel, not in a million years. But look what happens when he did. He became the biggest star in the industry, like without a shadow of a doubt, the biggest star. I think it leans in again to what we're saying, like to what Cody Rhodes is becoming, a guy who's losing all of his friends because of the belt. But the reason why he has the belt is for his own justified reasons. Like, obviously, he did it for his dad. He did it to finish the story. He did it because he truly believes that he's the best in the industry. But because he's holding that championship, he's losing everything that he cares about. So eventually, I think he's going to become everything that he hated about Roman Reigns, which is a beautiful story to tell. I think that'd be great to tell. Like you said, like a Homelander sort of change. Like, I think that'd be a great thing for Cody to tell.
I think the storyline feeds itself so well now because the fans have been begging and asking for that, and Cody being the reluctant, I'm not going to, but then other times tease it like that I'm gonna go full Homelander on your ass, which he said in another promo. The way he spoke to CM Punk, the way he's just done the pose with the belt. Like, as Courtney said, I think it's a very interesting perspective. You can still take the aspect of he's doing it for the people he loves and getting revenge on Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens has been the thorn in his side now, trying to take all his friends out, like very dangerously take them out. So Cody got his own payback and now has put it in the perspective of like, look, you burn me, I'm going to burn you twice as bad. Yeah. I 100% see that side of it as well now.
I know I keep referencing Drew McIntyre when it comes to this, but I think when Drew McIntyre was having that slow heel turn, people were seeing it and they weren't just completely blindsided by it because we saw it happen week by week, day by day, step by step. So when it actually happened, we were like, oh my God, didn't believe it was going to happen, but like we're grateful that it has because it's given us this other version. Yeah. I think if we slowly see the seeds being planted and the flowers slowly being, watered and grown, I think if we are to get that with Cody Rhodes, I think some people might feel like it's completely out of left field and they're blindsided, but for a lot of us who have been keeping up with a lot of this stuff, I think we'll be like, this is actually really good. Like, instead of
100%.
Because I know with heel turns in the past, we were completely blindsided and there was no justification, no moral, no reason, no intention as to why that person had turned. But I think now we're given that justification. Like with Shinsuke Nakamura turning into what he has now, we understand why. And I think that's the one thing that I really appreciate about a babyface turning heel is Triple H is taking the time to give us that background behind why that person has done what they've done. He's given us notable examples and reasons as to why these things are happening that we can go back and reference it and actually put the pieces together and go, oh yeah, actually I can totally see why. So if that is to happen with Cody, yeah, sure, there'll be like a group of the fan base that's upset. But a lot of us are just like wanting to see this fresh side of Cody Rhodes that we know he was doing before he got here, you know?
Yeah.
But I think we're completely overlooking something as well too. Like obviously we just had the qualification match for Chamber with Punk and Sammy. Now obviously Sammy's not in it. We know fully well they'll do like a match at the end of the tournament for the loser bracket to try and get the next person in. I reckon Kevin Owens screws over Sami Zayn, and then that's how we get them wrestling in like a one-on-one match at Elimination Chamber.
Oh yes,
taking place in.
Because I think people
Toronto
have been saying,
well,
because people have been saying they want it to take place at Mania. I reckon they've got enough time to build it up between now and Chamber, and obviously you've got two Canadian darlings in a match in Canada. Like it writes itself, basically.
It does. It 100% does, and I love that level of booking. Like thought that you've gone into that because that's something I definitely want. Like I've watched Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn for years, so it's like I'm always here to see what interesting take they now do on it. Because like we had it with Ring of Honor when Sami Zayn was El Generico. We've had it with NXT Black and Gold where Kevin Owens came out to like act all celebration, like, oh yeah, Sami, you finally won your first major belt in like WWE, to then instantly turn on him out of jealousy and spite. And then they've had this like, oh, now we're now best friends. We've now been tag team together. To now he's just betrayed him again. And it's like, I love having the whole joke, you know, like me and you messaged about this saying we saw this film before.
And we didn't like the ending.
And we didn't like the ending. I want to have that moment of I've seen this film before, but this time I do like the ending, and I hope they nail this storyline.
You know that line is a Taylor Swift lyric, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know the myth.
That's why I say it, because I know it gets a rise out of you in like a good way. But I think as well too, when it comes down to it, like a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, if they're going to have KO and Sammy, they're on different brands, they can't build it up. We know fully well at this point of the year in the lead up to WrestleMania, the brand split doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, it don't exist.
Yeah.
We literally just saw Charlotte Flair on NXT this week. Wouldn't she be signed to SmackDown? Like
same with Jay. Yeah, Jay's rocking up to SmackDown this week. Sorry, you mean the main event of Raw, like the guy of Raw, is rocking up on SmackDown? Like it don't matter.
The brand split doesn't exist at this point of the year. It's out the window.
I mean, as far as I know, look at Roman. He's not on the same brand as Punk or Seth. So
exactly. He's nowhere to be found, my guy.
So, you know.
My man was doing double duty when it weren't even on any brand. He weren't even signed. My man was just like, yo, I'm a rock up. I'm going to do Netflix's debut show on Raw. Then I'll be on SmackDown. It don't matter. I can do both.
Exactly. Any final thoughts on the ladder match, guys, before we move on to the main event?
Nah, I think let's move on to the main event.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's do it. Men's Royal Rumble match. Rey Mysterio, Rey Mysterio and Penta starting off. That was a treat. Absolute treat to say. We've got to talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to Penta, though. Iron Man, yes. However, was he eliminated? Was he not eliminated?
I saw this picture up on Facebook of someone screenshotting both his feet on the ground, and they went ahead and captured it. This is definitely not Penta's feet, definitely not touching the ground.
The best one I saw is we are now going to have VAR system for freaking Rumbles to clarify if the person touched the ground or not. And
like the match stops for 5 minutes while the referee checks.
It's like in cricket when they go and like get it like checked over.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what a VAR is. It's like a virtual
No, I know.
Yeah.
But cricket already takes so fucking long that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the same with football. It's like with a whole football match in 90 minutes, and then it takes them like 3 to 4 minutes to decide was it a goal or not a goal, or was it offside or not offside. And it's like, genuinely, if a botch happens, I get it. And if it's not their time, it's not their time. But you've got to make it a better way of showing it.
They kept going over it. If they didn't want it to be a focal point, they wouldn't have kept
So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. It was the cameraman's fault, in my opinion.
He didn't need to catch it the way he did.
Yeah, he didn't need to catch it the way he did. And at the end of the day, this is a live performance. There are no retakes. Penta was supposed to be the Iron Man. He was supposed to be there nearly till the end. So, you're not going to eliminate him just that. Unless it's like a clear, I fell over the top rope and then my whole body is on the floor. I think we can ignore it. But I just thought I'd bring it up, seeing as though, God, I've heard people talk nearly as much about this as the fucking winner of the match.
Do you think that the cameraman was also at fault for Titus O'Neil when he entered the Rumble match?
100% when it was
my God.
That was the cameraman just being like, right, I'm going to make comedy gold out of this.
I hate this man. I'm going to catch him out.
Yeah. Right.
That was
unbelievable. On a real, they could have very much easily fixed this. They could have said, Penta's heels never touched the ground. His toes did, but his heels. Because the exact wording of Royal Rumble is both feet fully hit the ground. If your toes touch the ground and your heels didn't, so I'm talking like if he had his fucking
ground.
Well, no,
but they could have tried to at least cover it instead of having half of the IWC catch it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. If it was on his tiptoes and it weren't like, so if he was like that, which he basically looked like he was, instead of him being full flat, like heel straight down on the ground, then they could have played that off, being like, oh no, his toes skimmed the ground. It's the fact of they kept playing it on commentary, being like, oh, Penta shouldn't really technically be in the ring still. Did he actually fall or did he not fall?
Listen, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I'm glad that he stayed in because he had some awesome spots with Jacob Fatu, with Braun Breaker. He did very well in that match. So I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad he was able to stay in.
I saw an awful take as well where someone said he did basically nothing for 42 minutes. He just lay there. I'm like, did we watch the same?
You clock it and do that at your job, my guy.
Yeah. I was like, did we watch the same Rumble? Because I swear my man stepped up to like Jacob Fatu and started throwing hands. Like, sorry, what?
That fucking Penta driver to Jacob Fatu.
Exactly. Oh yeah, he just sat in his ass. Sorry, not the fact he had a fucking Mexican driver that he calls it, and he's Penta driver as well. Like,
what was the comment that was made on commentary after that? There was something that was made about the Mexican driver, and then someone was like, "Oh, she stayed down for that one."
I think it was probably a smart ass comment by Wade Barrett.
It's a reference to how Orange Cassidy did them in AEW, and everyone was just getting straight up after the Canadian.
It was Wade Barrett basically taking the piss out of how KDs are meant to,
knock you out.
Yeah. Look, that was a spot agreed by the wrestlers. If they want to KD each other and get up straight after to do another KD, that's on fucking them. Like, let's be real. I hated that was a problem. Thing. Yeah, that's between the two wrestlers deciding to put it in the ring. And if the booker goes, yeah, okay, as long as you make it make sense, which they did in my eyes, it was a whole spot of which KD is stronger until we can't fucking walk no more. I understand the spot is meant to be flip you complete over and knock you out. But if you are smart enough, you can roll that shit out. You can get out of it still pretty easy, like most moves.
You want to talk about something that was unrealistic about the men's Royal Rumble, and what got on my nerves was the fact that Braun Strowman was in the Rumble. I'm sorry, a week ago, you got absolutely juiced by Jacob Fatu. How are you here right now?
He's just human. That's why.
Yeah, I was so confused by that. Yeah, because he was coughing up blood, everything, and my man still wrapped up at the Rumble.
It's fucking John Cena healing. What the fuck's that about? Yeah, he literally got Bronson Reed to fucking The Miz or R-Truth. Jacob Fatu absolutely wrecked him, dude. And you're there you're not even selling it. You're running down to the ring and like you being like a dominant force. What's happening? I didn't get that. But you know, it is what it is, I suppose. I do just want to give a quick shout out to Jacob Fatu himself, though, because he was probably the best part of that match. Not just for the fact that he kept on squaring up to Braun Breaker and we never got it. But it's going to be something in the future that we're going to be seeing. The dogs were barking. The sequence that he had with Sheamus when he knocked down Joe Hendry and Sheamus was saying, I was enjoying that. Why have you always got to be so mad?
I love that. Yeah, I love
it. It was
that.
so good. Have you seen the edit on Twitter of them putting Joe Hendry's face on Sheamus?
No.
God, let me go find it. Give me 2. You carry on chatting, I'll go find it.
Jeez.
Just for the fact that he had such a dominant performance in that match. Yeah. I thought Jacob Fatu really shone in that match, and he pretty much did it by himself. I loved it when Jimmy was checking on Roman, and Jacob just threw his ass out of the ring like,
yeah,
see you later, bitch. I thought that was really good.
For me as well, I've got to put it out there. I love the spot where he's got in the ring, he's ready to go, and he instantly just flies with that shoulder tackle. Just goes, all right, we're going into it. Jacob Fatu's just like, yep, bolt. There's a massive flying shoulder tackle.
Okay,
yeah,
so good.
I sent
it in the group chat.
But okay. I'll show you.
Oh, that's so funny.
No worries.
Love it. Love it. Sheamus be looking good these days.
Jesus Christ.
If you went on Twitter and you saw Sheamus repost that and go, who did it? And you were the one who did it, and you're like, I'm about to get my husband as Irishman. Like,
speaking of Sheamus, I also liked how Sheamus did the 10 beats quite early on in the Rumble to like anyone that just ran up to him. He was like, yeah, let me just quickly hook you. Cool, 10, let's go. I liked that.
You just reminded me of something. Like, dude, let me just quickly skirt all the way back to the women's Rumble. Shout out to Bianca for doing like 10 fucking backflips in the corner.
Yeah. The backflip, like, boom, boom, flip, boom, flip. Yeah, that was sick. That spot was sick.
I knew I was forgetting something about the women's Rumble.
Hell yeah.
I was going to say, the women's Rumble really reminded me of how much I actually just miss Bianca being a single superstar. I say this every time. Like,
no, genuine facts.
If what is going on with this Jade Cargill storyline doesn't happen, please just put Bianca back as a single star. Like,
yeah, exactly. I agree with that. Like, please take her out the tag division. God.
Keaton put a really interesting thing going forward, and I liked what he mentioned. If they really wanted to, they could play into this Jade storyline. You know how Jordan Grace and Naomi hugged and everything, and Bianca got pissed off and was like, what the hell are you doing? What if Jordan Grace was the person that took out Jade Cargill?
Wouldn't be surprised.
To lead up them two to having a feud. I thought that was a really cool thing. So I was like, that makes sense. It already puts Jordan Grace in a high position. It already makes a storyline for them to build feuds off. And it's one that we've all been sat there being like, who did it to Jade? And to be perfectly honest, Jordan Grace is a very possible one because of, you know, powerhouse.
It's just taking forever to get to this part of the story, though. That's all.
Yeah, no, I know. It's
massively.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's dragged out. I hate when stories do it. Sometimes
it's probably because Jade Cargill is genuinely injured, and they
can't. We'll see. We'll see how we get to that point.
Anyway, back to the men's Rumble.
Yeah. Back to the men's Rumble. Again, I want to give it a couple more shout outs. Just I want to get mine out, just obviously because then you guys can have a conversation. I also want to give a shout out to Braun Breaker. That guy. Spotlight on him, like just all the way through that match. Really great.
Yeah, insane.
We're not just. I'm not even just talking about the iShow speed bit. Obviously, that currently has about like 100 million views or like 400 million views or some shit like all over the platforms. But I love the fact that like they went against the curve, and I know he got eliminated, but the fact that he got the spear in before Reigns did, I thought that was such a good spot, dude. That was so cool, man. Like Reigns was coming off the thing, and you were like, "Here comes the spear," and Braun just takes him out.
Yeah, Braun's like, "Nope, my turn." I love that.
You know how we seen it in like normal camera angle. Did you guys see the drone version?
Yeah, you sent the drone
It's
shot
so
this morning.
good.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Drone version shows you it properly from over the top, and it's such a better angle to see things like that from. Because if you're watching from one like bronze side, you only see the spear. You don't see like what. And if you're watching from the other side, you just see Aisha just go back, whereas from over the top you see the whole. And I really think the drones are a really cool addition to.
It's such a cool feature.
I liked it because it showed me the present Paul Heyman guy and the future Paul Heyman guy pull out the same tricks in the book, and it gets the job done. I loved that. I was like, yes,
For real. Like, I mean,
Yes.
I want to give a shout out to iShow Speed as well, because no one taught that boy to tuck his chin. Jesus Christ! Like, Ron Breaker coming off the ropes. I don't even know how fast it was. That
23
head
miles per hour. Apparently, it's 23 miles per hour. He is the fastest he can hit, or some shit.
Yeah, like I say, I don't know exactly how fast he did it this time, but that head whiplash, dude. And then he got through out, and then he got through over the announce table and like took a chunk out of his leg. Like,
So pointless.
look, I remember when Wade Barrett was like, "Oh, look at him! Like, I think he's gonna throw up," and people were like, "Oh, that's really good selling." It's like, no, he wasn't selling; he was hurt. Like,
I just looked it up because I needed to convert it because I don't use miles per hour on my side of the world. So he was running at about 37 kilometers an hour.
Yo!
That's insane. If that's what 23 miles per hour is in kilometers, so.
Hold on.
I'm going to disagree, by the way, G. I don't think it was a wasted spot at all. I think that. I really, really don't. At the end of the day, in any rumble at any point in time, you can have a celebrity make an appearance. I mean, you had Bad Bunny do it a couple of years ago. You've had Drew Carey do it in 2001.
Me doing it last year.
Yeah, exactly. It happens. It gets people involved. Like, you see it happen. Like I just said, that all over all of his platforms, iShow Speed, that has like 400 million views. And I tell you what,
the company. I know why they do it.
it gets your eyes on the product, but guess who else it puts your eyes on? Wow, who's that guy spearing him? I want to see more of him.
Yeah,
like Bron Breakker, dude. Like Bron Breakker, like a star, absolute star. If I'm watching that scene, I think, ouch, iShow Speed. That looks like it really hurts. But fuck me, that guy can move for his size.
Yeah.
This is what I was gonna say. Like, I know what you're saying, G. I understand, because it could have been an opportunity for a wrestler to show off a wrestler, but they have to find a way of a celebrity plug or get eyes on the product. Hey, at least we could have ended up having both Speed and Kai Cenat in the ring. Luckily, we didn't. That's all.
But do you know what we didn't have? And correct me if I'm wrong, but any NXT talent?
Yes!
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Oh
that
my
pissed
God.
me off. That genuinely pissed me off.
There was no NXT men in this division. And I know that Triple H was digging deep into his roster, but this actually, and I want to pose this question to you now, considering that from this point onwards, I think next year's Royal Rumble is a 2-night affair, so you can have one Rumble on one night, one on the other.
Apparently so.
Do you think it would actually benefit maybe having 40 people in the Rumble instead of 30 because of how big the rosters are? Because
I would agree.
They filled 30 people from the men's side just on the main roster alone.
I don't know.
You didn't get to do anything in terms of the men's division from NXT. If anything, I was expecting either Trick Williams or Ethan Page to come up, but nobody. That just shows how slim. That just shows how slim the NXT men's main roster is, in terms of the main event scene. They had 5 women come up, but no men.
I agree with what you're saying, Kurt. But I'll pose it and put it in a different direction for you, and I can understand where you're coming from. When we've had larger rumbles in the past, there's been large portions of the match, and I'm not saying it will happen as much because obviously you've got a lot more depth to the roster now, especially with NXT. But it's big chunks of the match where nobody's come out, and no offense to the talent. And we saw it a couple of times in the women's rumble. I feel very sorry for Meechim because she got no pop whatsoever. Absolutely.
Neither did B-Fab. B-Fab didn't get anything, and I think she was a potentially wasted spot. And I know she was there to help out, but
Exactly. If you keep it at 30, I wouldn't mind a 40 rumble. But if you keep it at 30, I think you get the cream of the crop, as Mr. Brandy Savage used to say. And you just not throwing every member of the roster in there. With that being said, yes, I would have loved to seen an Obafemi or Trick Williams in there maybe, but I think it goes to show that
even a Wesley.
I wouldn't mind a Wesley, but again, I don't think we needed a Wesley because we had like Penta, Gable, Mysterio. We had them fast paced guys at the start of the match. Like, do you know what I mean? Like putting in the work.
Yeah.
Because if you put NXT talent in there, who are you going to take out? I mean, I feel sorry for Shinsuke because he wasn't in there for very long, and that's your US champion. And I think it's just an excuse to get like bodies in there, and then it all gets all muddled up. But I understand with what you're saying, like maybe a couple of NXT talent maybe needed to be in there. But again, with the women, I'll chunk this in with another point that I was going to say as well because it still matters. Obviously, you had Alexa Bliss in there, who Shotzi gave up her shot for Alexa Bliss. She was supposed to be in it. She was in rehearsals. And I'll pose this to you. You had a lot of NXT women in there who kind of replaced some people that could have been on the main roster, but at the same time you needed to fill because the roster isn't as big for the women. But here's something else for you. You had Nikki Bella in there, who, in my opinion, doesn't deserve to be in the Rumble. She has no place being number 30, second of all. And you had a lot of people from the NXT division, maybe from the main roster division, who could have had a better spot, who could have been more surprising, whatever. But Shotzi had to sit out because, her place was taken by Alexa, but Nikki Bella was in there. Trish Stratus was in there. Like, it's one of those situations where I feel like you have to balance it really well. Sometimes you get it right, in my opinion. Sometimes they don't. But going back to the whole cream of the crop, I think especially with the men, when you get after number 20 in the men's rumble that this year, pop after pop after pop after pop. Yeah. It was unbelievable. Like, I mean, even before then, you had your Joe Hendry, you had your Penta, Cero Miedo. Like, I love the fact that the crowd was chanting that. Like, every time you did it, I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, and I think sometimes, like, if it gets to 40, I mean, people already complain that the Rumble's too long. I've seen a lot of people say it was too long this year for both Rumbles. When you get it to 40 people, I mean, that's another at least 15 minutes added on, at least. So I don't know. It's a very fine line you want to walk, and I in some ways I agree with your point, but I'm just posing like a devil's advocate kind of thing here, where like you want to think about that. Yeah.
I see that, but I think if anything, it just showed me that like as you continue to say this week after week after week, Reese, I think the NXT women's division is so stacked down there that they can have a couple of people come up and be in the Rumble. Whereas, like, for the men, I was shocked we didn't see anybody. I was kind of like, I know the men's roster on the main event scene in terms of, like, on Raw and SmackDown is, like, stacked. I get that. But, like, it just would have been nice to see someone from NXT.
I think
for them to acknowledge the people that are working down there to come up to do this eventually. I just kind of was a bit like, okay.
I agree.
Especially where my perspective came from is one of the guys that you're going to be doing this Rumble to go against is Cody Rhodes. There are 3 particular people that they already teased the whole thing with Cody Rhodes being like, oh yeah, you guys look like you're happy and know your place here. He spoke to Shawn Spears, Ethan Page, and Lexus King. Any of those 3 rocking up to the Rumble to potentially have that moment of, I'm now going to face the guy that was my mentor, was my friend, would have got a pop from a lot of the fans because they would have instantly picked up that story. I get a lot of the people are like, as Reese said, and that, it's difficult in those situations because you've already got to build what you have, and then who would you take out from your main roster because you've already picked very unique guys for the main roster. And for me, I think the women's, like, this is no offense to the women's one, I think it's easier to pick some of the NXT ones because they're picking the favorites from each 3, whereas the men's one, it's very difficult to pick from the men's male roster of NXT because if you take one guy, you're going to want the other guy that's also been feuding with him. So say, like, if you picked Tony from the family, you're then going to want Obafemi because you're going to want to see them 2 in a Rumble ring going against each other.
Of course I want to see them too.
But that's what I'm saying. I think the problem is NXT's main roster, like, male talent, when their feuds have been that good, you can't really take them out of the NXT and slap them in that Rumble, because then you're going to instantly go, well, that person needs to have that new star push straight away. And while they're still feuding, like,
so I'll pose this to you. Sorry to interrupt, Ross. Like, I mean,
no. You're the other NXT guy, so you get where I'm probably coming from with that. So,
yeah, and I mean, off the top of my head, I'm thinking of a lot of people who I'd love to see in the Rumble, but I'm gonna narrow it down to one person. And I'm gonna ask each one of you, is like, if you could pick one male superstar that should have been in that Rumble, who would it have been? I'll go with you, with Ross first.
Oh, okay. So I had one for TNA. I had one for TNA, and I had one for NXT. If I could do TNA, I would have had Josh Alexander.
Okay.
Sorry, not sorry. That would have been amazing to see Gable and Josh Alexander have a spot, or Penta and him just have a spot in that, because they have history. NXT, I know he's got his storyline where his mouth is wired at the moment and stuff, but Javon Evans, that guy.
I like that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Javon Evans is a moneymaker. He is 20 years old.
I thought you were going to do the thing. I thought you were going to go, because you went, that guy. And I went, he is
that guy. No, he is that guy. He's the youngest OG. He's the best guy from Florida. I think that's what he also says, like, best wrestler out of Florida or some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the stars are the limit for him. 100%.
Yeah, like, genuinely, for me, he is one of the biggest highlight reels. Like, for me, that is your new version of a Ricochet, your new version of a Will Ospreay. This guy has the wow factor, but he's also great on a mic, whereas certain other talents have struggled with that in the past. He's got his character. It's like, cool, you keep underestimating the kid. Well, watch this kid fly and beat the crap out of him. Sorry, him versus Randy Orton has been something I've talked about predominantly since I saw that match. I think that was one of the craziest matches I've seen. Even when the RKO spot failed the way it did, there was mad respect to Evans, because Evans picked it back up and acted like a businessman and carried on and finished.
Yeah, for real, the guy's 20 years old, man. Like, give him a break. Like,
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So that's your choice. I like that choice. Cool. What about you? I heard you mention Wesley before. Is that your choice, or would you go somewhere else?
I would have gone for an Obafemi.
Nice.
Like that, yeah.
Because you had, like I said, you had Julia coming, who's the champion.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to see Obafemi face off against the likes of a Jacob Fatu or a Braun Breaker or a Braun Strowman. Like,
if he got in the ring with Jacob Fatu, I mean, like Michael Cole said when him and like Fatu and Roman were in, like, you're looking at a future WrestleMania main event. Jacob Fatu and Obafemi, that is a future WrestleMania main event right there. That is 100%. G, what about you?
I can't even answer, because Courtney literally took the words straight out of my mouth. I was going to say Obafemi, because I'd like to see him face off with the likes of Braun Breaker, Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu. That is literally what I was going to say. So
yeah,
what can I say? Great minds think alike.
It's the Big E booking in us. It's big meaty men slapping meat. We just want the true powerhouses fighting each other.
Courtney's Triple H, and I'm sure Michael's. That's just how this goes.
Yeah.
What can I say? What can I say?
I would probably say over any that as well. But like, if I was to pose a different one, I would love to see a Trick Williams face off with like a Jey Uso. I think that'd be great.
Yeah. Or you could have faced off with Mello, like, because Mello was in the Rumble as well too.
Yeah.
I mean, they called back when Braun eliminated him as well, so I like that. I like the fact that he eliminated Mello.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Shall we go on to talk about our winner of the Royal Rumble? Because we haven't
Before we get there, let's talk about the final 6. Just because, like, what happened there was quite interesting. You had CM Punk eliminate both Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, who once again costed each other an opportunity because they were so obsessed with each other. I love the committed, constant storyline that they're telling with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Even after all this time, people are so invested in the Shield work that they're doing here. Only for Punk to be eliminated by Logan Paul. I thought, I mean, I made a video on this a couple of days ago. I thought the outside work here, especially with Seth, is probably the most interesting thing that happened in the men's Rumble. Like, Seth just snapping was unbelievable.
Do you know what made it even better as well?
And gave him the finger.
Do you know what made it even better is when G sent me an edit of that happening with Paramore's Ain't It Fun. Like,
I sent it. I sent it
to me. That's the thing, is you both are sending me the exact same, but you guys need to vet this shit before you send it to me.
Because we send them to each other, and
I know.
Courtney like to see this.
And then you both said it at the same time, and I'm like, I can literally only respond to one person.
I love that. Yeah, no, I send as many edits as I find on TikTok because that's literally my morning is just waking up to really cool fucking edits. I'm like, yeah, that's going to the squad. But
Love it.
I'm also going to point this out. Seth never crashed out. Seth said from day freaking one that the next time he's in a ring with Roman Reigns, he is to stomp his head out. What happened?
He's a man of his word.
He stomped the motherfucking head out.
I loved it. Like I like the fact the way they told this story as well, because obviously he jumps onto Reigns, like stomps him, and then like immediately runs for Punk. Them two are fighting while that's going on, while they're pulling him apart. He goes back to Roman, but because then he goes and because he goes after Paul, Punk then gets involved again because that's his friend. I love the intertwining of the people in this story. I thought it was fantastic.
Everything Seth Rollins was doing outside of the ring is how my brain has been for the last couple of weeks and how it's more than likely going to be for the next couple of weeks. Absolute chaos. Just running
I'll
around
pose a
in rings.
question. Because obviously, we've pretty much been all talking about the Rumble. I'll pose a question to all of you. This is probably going to be a triple threat at WrestleMania, right? At least
I was just going to say that. I think it's currently penciled in as it being Roman, Punk, and Rollins.
Do we somehow make this for a championship, or do you think it needs it?
I don't think it needs it.
I don't think so. I think if there's a chance that the title gets put into this between now and Mania, that's fine. But I personally don't really think it needs to. I think we've seen so many feuds coming out lately that haven't involved a title that go to show that a storyline itself, whether it's rich and deep as this one is. I mean, I don't know if you guys caught it on commentary, but they were talking about how the Shield was formed in Indianapolis. It broke up in Indianapolis. It came back in Indianapolis. Now we're getting this. Like, I think that just goes to show how deep and layered and textured this story is, that I don't think it needs a title. Like, I genuinely don't. I think if anything, like, I think if it's just going to look like it's going to be, if they set it up that it looks like it's just going to be Roman and Rollins, I reckon that's when CM Punk calls in that favor and says, I want to be inserted into this match.
The issue I have with that is Punk is set out to main event WrestleMania.
So that was a question.
Which comes to my second question. I was going to ask that. Do we give this the main event?
Our questions may have some similarities. I did notice that during the announcement of when they were talking about how the Rumble is set up, they said that the winner will go on to main event WrestleMania. I know fully well if it comes down to the decision of Jey Uso versus Gunther versus the potential of Cody and Cena, they're going to go Cody and Cena for the main event. Stop saying that the Rumble is for the main event. We know fully well you've got other matches that will main event over the Rumble winners.
At the end of the day, and we see this. We see this all the time. And WWE are very notorious for it. I've even seen AEW start to do it. Like when they go, we've got 3 main events for you, and it's like, no,
the main event
is the last match on the fucking card. Like the main event is there. Like the opening match is not the main event, because if it was the main event, then people would fucking go home after that match.
I would rather, and I said this to you guys last year, and I will continue to say it until this doesn't happen anymore. I would rather them not promise the Rumble winners will main event. I would rather them just say they get a title opportunity against a champion of their choice.
Yeah.
That is how you cover it. That is how you go ahead and don't give people false promises and make it sound like Jey Uso is going to win the main event WrestleMania when we know fully well it's not going to happen. And that's not Jay's fault. It's the way that WWE sets up the Rumble. Like I said, if it's a decision between Jey and Gunther versus Cody and Cena, they're going to go for Cody and Cena because that's going to bring in more people. It's going to bring in more money. It's going to bring in more eyeballs.
Especially if they're going to give Cena the belt.
Exactly.
How many times has it actually happened as well? I mean, I'm just going to go back to 2000.
You would know more than we do, Reese, because you're that WWE historian. You've got that dog in you.
I'll go back. I'm just going to go back to 2010. Edge won. He didn't main event WrestleMania.
No.
2011, Del Rio did not main event WrestleMania. 2012, Sheamus didn't main event WrestleMania. He opened the fucking show. 18 seconds, Daniel Bryan. 2013, Cena WrestleMania. I don't think. Oh, yes, he did. He did main event WrestleMania that year,
wasn't it?
Yes. 2014, Roman Reigns. Batista. He did main event WrestleMania. Fair play to him. 15 Reigns, yes, obviously because it's Roman Reigns, which means 16 Triple H, yes. 17 Randy, no. 18 Nakamura, no. 19 Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch,
That
no.
opens the show.
And Asuka, yeah, Asuka the year before that, by the way, no. 20, I think Drew main evented night 1 or 2. I think so.
Yeah.
21. And Charlotte didn't.
Night 1.
Yeah, well, yeah, there we go. WrestleMania 21, Edge did with Reigns and Bryan, which was obviously the same year that you had Bianca. And she did with, I believe it was Sasha Banks, right?
That main event in night 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. 22 Ronda Rousey. I don't think she did.
No. That was the second to last match, I think, because that was when they had the KO and Stone Cold one. Yeah.
Yes, because on the same year you had Brock win the Rumble, who then fought Roman.
Which that
was the main event. Yeah. WrestleMania. That year exactly, and then obviously you had in 2023. Obviously, the winner goes on to face Roman Reigns. Did the winner go on to face Roman Reigns? Is the only question that you got asking? Yeah, because obviously he was the champion at the time. 2024, you had Bayley didn't main event WrestleMania, and obviously Cody Rhodes main evented WrestleMania. Like, so
the common denominator is if Roman's not in it, you're not main eventing.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, I want to say that's maybe a 40-60 split between like winning the Rumble and going to WrestleMania to main event. It doesn't happen every single year, and in fact, it barely happens throughout that decade. What I just said in 15 years, I think it maybe happened 7 times or maybe 6 times, which is like that's not really the truth. Then, if you're saying they're going to the main event.
No, exactly.
If Jey Uso doesn't main event now, I'm literally going to go back to the Rumble, voice record the bit of Pat saying, Jey Uso's going to main event, and I'm going to send it to Triple H with a really angry message.
It's a shame.
He's going to have to change his name from main event Jey Uso to mid-card Jey Uso at this point, because he's
opening
not...
match Jey Uso.
Opening match Jey Uso.
Right.
Second match on the card Jey Uso.
Devil's advocate. I'm going to be devil's advocate because, I haven't got to say anything on my views on this. Main event in... Royal Rumble saying main event in WrestleMania. I get all of your points. I get the whole frustration of what it's saying because other matches are going to be put involved. You know for a fact, wrestling booking business, they will say co-main events, and there are 2 nights in WrestleMania. So he will either...
So we can have 2 main events.
That's what I'm saying. So he'll either main event night 1 or he'll main event night 2. Or they'll co-main event it. This is the thing. Them saying he is the main event... What they will do is they'll say co-main events, and there will be 3 matches between the end of the whole of WrestleMania. One will be a storyline one, so such as your Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. Your other one being Cody and Cena, and then you'll have your Jacob Fatu and your Gunther. Not Jacob Fatu. Why did I say Jacob Fatu? Your Jey Uso and
I wish.
Gunther. Like, it's how they're going to book it.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. You're giving me 2 male main events. Where do the women come into this?
Well, no, because the women will have a main event as well.
No.
At the end of the day, I mean, I'm not being funny. I mean, you guys know my stance on this, and I think it's true. And I think it's been true ever since it was like a single night WrestleMania. Whether you're a female or a male, it doesn't matter. I think the match that deserves to be main event should be main event.
Yeah.
If we're counting any of that, Charlotte and Rhea, I would maybe put as the main event. However, would I rather see Charlotte versus either Rhea or Tiffany, or would I rather see CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns? Like, I would rather see the triple threat, if I'm being honest with you.
I think you're in a position where we're so spoiled with opportunity that one match isn't going to do that.
Yeah.
A good match.
Yeah.
And I completely understand the stance on representation. Sorry that I didn't include a women's one. That was me just throwing examples
out.
We're
just saying.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just making the point of...
No, I know.
Okay, fair enough. WrestleMania used to be 1 night. You can only have 1 main event. We now have 2 nights. Why aren't they showcasing the women in an amazing main event for one?
No, and I 100% agree, because one of the main reasons that got you into wrestling was when women finally got to be in that spotlight, and I want more opportunities for women to have that again. Yeah, there you go. I know the poster you're exactly referring to. I knew which poster you meant. Don't worry, we know it's there. I see it all the time. I know it's there.
Wait, which one?
But like freaking.
But yeah, we're really going off tangent now. This could be a conversation for another day.
No, yeah, I'll quickly get it back to where I was saying. So the thing is, what I'm trying to come across as, like, them saying the main event of WrestleMania, the perspective and the way main eventing in these type of pay-per-views are now has completely changed. I am on the same foot as Reese. I understand representation. I understand getting people in there. What I always have treated main events is if the story is the strongest and it is the most appealing and you know it is going to get the most viewership and most people going, holy shit, I now need to go watch that pay-per-view because I want to see that story. That should what main event. I wish when people win the Royal Rumble and they are told they are main event in the Royal Rumble, I don't understand why writers don't sit down and go, this is the storyline we're now going to write up and make it that extra fucking special so that way the person who is the main event has a reason to be that extra level of that main event because you've now got it solidified. Whoever they announce, you've then got 4 to 6 weeks of solid story writing because you still have another pay-per-view in between as well to build into Mania. And I don't get why they don't do that. Look at Bayley versus Io. That was a perfect opportunity for them to write so much better. And what did we only get? We got 2 weeks of that build? And it felt fat. Yeah, it fell flat and it sucked. That's the part I get annoyed by. I love seeing the opportunity of Royal Rumble and people getting those main event spots, but it doesn't make sense to me. Writers can't sit down after seeing that person wins and goes, right, let's do it. Let's give them this amazing storyline to go into with it. It just, yeah. But that's just my perspective on things of it.
Like we're down to obviously final 3 now in the Rumble. I just want to give a shout out to Local Paul for getting to the final 3. I love the way that he eliminated AJ Styles, by the way.
AJ Styles
to the final 3. Who's the last person in the match? Of course, he's going to probably be in the final 3. He didn't have to do any of the work going into it to actually get himself to the end.
Yeah, he's a heel. He's a heel. Good. I want him to do that. Then he got eliminated by Cena. Fair play. Cena final 2. I thought the writing was on the wall for this. Honestly, especially when they was on the apron, and I was like, this is gonna happen. Like he's gonna get him into the AA, and obviously he's gonna get thrown out. Was we all wrong? All of us was wrong. Jesus, like I could not believe it. Like when Cena like just got pushed out of the ring, and his face, my face was like I was like. What? I was like, no way.
I had my reaction. I do.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they swerved us all.
What I'm going to state, though, is it spawned arguably the greatest promo from Cena I've seen in a long time in that post-comment.
Yes.
That,
a possible heel promo, in my opinion.
That's what it felt like. I'm glad you said that, because for me, I said to G, I got goosebumps because I've not heard Cena be that determined and that pissed off.
He was just that direct with it.
Yeah,
he was like,
he was like, what's best for business? And he was basically saying him holding a belt is best for business. And I was like, what's going on?
He was, and the case of, he was like, yeah, what's best for business? I'm what's best for business.
Yeah,
I'm going in the chamber.
But if you think about it, it's a complete contrast to how he did his promo from the Raw premiere. He was like, I'm going to earn every opportunity. I'm going to do this. And then he gets kicked out of the Rumble and he goes, actually, you know what? I'm not going to qualify. I'm just putting myself in this.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, I liked it.
I did like it. I love the fact that, I mean, to be honest, another guy who, like I say, he was a bit of a heel promo, but you can't argue with him. He does deserve to call his shot.
Yeah,
16-time world champion, baby. I'm going to be in the Elimination Chamber. Someone tell me that I fucking can't be in the chamber.
She calls her shot all the time. Why can't he do it?
Yeah, exactly. I just thought it was very, very cool. But like, it wasn't humble Cena. It was like a jaded Cena. Like, I really thought I was gonna win the Rumble, and then someone like Jey Uso took me out. But at the same time, I'm proud of him. But I'm John Cena. Like, I'm the main event of WrestleMania. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I should be there. I should be the 17-time world champion. You know, like, you know, so I can shake the hand of the person that gets 18. But I'm John Cena, and I should hold that record because I'm what's best for business. I was like, okay.
But then here's a point we could take going forward. Just a little something I thought of like a couple of days ago. So say we go to WrestleMania now, and Cena faces Cody, and Jey Uso faces Gunther. Jey wins. He's the new world heavyweight champion. John Cena loses. Cody retains. John Cena could then go after Jey because they've got a bit of history now from him kicking him out of the Rumble.
Yeah, I agree with that. And
It's
I think
a good way to build
if you want to go
going forward.
If you want to go that way, and if you want to go the heel way, I think that's definitely the direction they should go.
Yeah.
I'm still down for what I suggested, where I think he should lose every single match till he gets to King of the Ring and then wins.
Yeah,
King
I
of
like that too.
Yeah,
I like the fact.
I've been saying for a long time he needs to struggle. Like he
Yeah,
can't be
he
getting
does.
stuff off. He can't be getting stuff
Because
given
when
to
he
him.
eventually wins, the pop will just be
Exactly.
Exactly. And then you get to SummerSlam, he wins the title, only for him to be immediately cast in on by like Dom or someone. Oh,
Yeah, because this
Could
is
you
like I said
imagine?
to you guys, it's a retirement tour, not a retirement show. Like
yeah.
if you want to make this last for the entire year and you want it to be something that people reference, people still reference his open challenge that he did with the US title because that was really good. You don't want to have this opportunity of it being the last time you can see Cena in Toronto, the last time you can see him at WrestleMania, the last time you can see him at SummerSlam, and like then blow off all the storylines 2 months into the year and then they've got nothing creative wise for the rest of the year. Like you want this to be, it's in November and you're like, is this man still gonna be able to do what he wants to do and set himself out to? You need to have that level of like sacrifice for the story because otherwise it's just not gonna, I don't think it's gonna hit the same. But I've got faith that they'll do it, but I don't want them to like show their cards too soon, you know? Like
yeah, well that's what I was thinking. Like if we get to WrestleMania, that's what, the mid of April, and John Cena wins the bout, people are like, oh that's it, we don't need to see John Cena for the rest of the year.
Exactly.
No, he's done it now.
I like the fact. I like the fact that we're kind of all on the same page. I think he needs to get to the top of the mountain in like halfway through the year, only for them to have it all taken away from him like pretty much immediately. Like he's got the 17th, he's done it. Like like he's done it.
Yeah.
But then like maybe for him to lose it, someone comes out to like console him or something, and he just like I don't know beats him down or some shit. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Like I just want to see Cena just a little tiny heel run. Like he doesn't even have to finish the heel.
Wait.
Just a tiny one.
To add to that, my brain just went even like more crazy about this. What if we've been looking at the retirement tour wrong the whole time?
probably have.
Maybe.
No, hear me out. He's always ever been a babyface. He's never had a heel run. Never actually. What if this is him saying he's retiring his babyface character and he is sick to death of losing this much that throughout this tour, him losing even more, it's him just snapping away and then he becomes a heel. And he's like, oh, by the way, I weren't fucking retiring. I was retiring this bullshit of being with the crowd.
Back to thugonomics, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, it could. Bro, if they do like a swerve storyline like that on there, you heard it fucking here first. If that happens, I want my flowers because that'll be sick. That'll feed generations.
I'll give you your props, bro. I'll let you dream. I'll let you dream. The moment.
It's a good dream to have. It would be fucking.
Oh, it's like your Joe Hendry one. You wanted him to win the Rumble and everything, and everyone was like, "No." I was like, "Let him dream." It's fine.
Nah. That dream was like instantly gone as soon as he actually touched the ring. I'm like, yo, he's gonna get thrown out in like the next 5 minutes. And then
he got thrown out by Reigns though. Fair play.
Yeah, he got thrown out by someone very fucking strong. Yeah,
he got a bit of rub from Roman. Can't say Roman doesn't put people over. The top rope.
Either way, I think we've got some great storylines coming out of the Rumble, setting up ready for Mania.
I agree. Any final thoughts on anything that you saw this year?
Nah.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, go on.
Rest in peace, Duke Hudson. We loved you.
Oh, bro, don't even no.
Whatever new character you get, whatever new promotion you're in, honestly, Duke Hudson, it sucks that you have, been retired. Wow,
It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. Like what? I couldn't see him as a main roster guy.
I don't think Triple H would have said that. I'm sorry, Dave Meltzer.
Like I said, who the hell did the news come from? Like, come on! I know he wouldn't have said that.
But the fact of multiple sources have confirmed Duke Hudson is gone. Sucks.
Fuck up,
fucking sucks.
Best faction in wrestling history.
Honestly, we loved Chase U, man. The amount of times we spoke about Chase U on the podcast, or just in passing when we'd watch NXT, or the amount of times we'd all speak about Chase U, it genuinely hurts my soul to know that group is not going to be the same anymore. It's hard. It was hard for me to genuinely put on this week's NXT because I found out that news before I went to go open NXT and watch it.
It's hard, dude. It's difficult because I understand that they're kind of doing a couple of Andre Chase things in the backgrounds of other
it's not the
segments,
same. It's not the
same.
And where's Thea Hale, man? I'm scared.
Yeah. Where's Thea Hale? God, I'm
please don't get rid of Thea Hale.
That's the first thing I thought of when it came to seeing the news. I was like, not Andre and Thea. I'm like, oh no.
She's the next. I'm not even joking, dude. She's the next prodigy. I think she's fantastic, Thea Hale. I really think she's good.
Honestly,
she's so good.
So good. They just need to keep her in a solid group and not just separate the group within a few months. Please.
But not to end on a sad note. Is there anything anyone else wants to say?
Yeet.
That is perfect. I also want to give a great shout out to Jacob Fatu for saying the most funniest line in the world, but in the most serious way. I know you get your hair braided, but don't get it twisted.
I'm sorry, that was bar for bar.
It's a lyrical genius. Eminem who? Slim Shady who?
Know what I mean?
You know what I mean? 5, 2.
Oh, I love that. It was so funny. But he kept a serious face when he was saying it. I was like, oh, fuck's sake.
Because he probably didn't realize how hard the bar was going to hit. It's like when LA Knight quoted John Cena's Doctor of Thugonomics and John Cena was behind him, and John Cena was the one that went. It's just like that.
I'm sorry. The
He's like, wait a minute. Hold
on.
I wish the camera was pointing the other way, looking at Damien when he said it. Yeah, I wanted to see Damien's reaction. There's probably a reason why the camera wasn't pointing at Damien, because he was probably like that.
Yeah, there'll be a drone shot somewhere.
The promo of the week before so when it was on Saturday Night Main Event, where he said live and on NBC from coast to coast, I'm gonna beat your ass from coast to coast.
Oh,
that he's really good.
That made me pop more because of how quick-witted that was. It was live on NBC. I'm gonna beat your ass from coast to coast. I was like, that is too much of a good bar to not realize man's talking live news feed of me beating your ass. I was like,
give him something at WrestleMania, please.
Oh, yeah, and also extra praise for Jacob Fatu. He got the line back. He got to reuse the best MLW promo he had of the hell King Kong, hell Godzilla.
Oh
hell,
yeah,
it don't matter because I'm both.
Yes. Oh, that was funny as well. Like when him and Tama Tonga were just walking, and the Tama Tonga walks up to the champion, just goes, yeah.
Well, no, I loved the fact of before Fatu did his promo as well, Jacob, you had freaking Jacob just walking, and then Tama's by the camera, and he's like, I got everybody on that, yeah. And we're just like, bro, what?
Honestly,
anyway. new blood.
Anyway,
cooking. Yeah.
Anyway, just to wrap up, guys. It's been an absolutely amazing episode of the podcast this week. Royal Rumble, favorite pay-per-view of the year, as I'm assuming it is for most of you guys as well. Make sure you should stay subscribed to the channel, because next week we're going to be talking about none other than NXT Vengeance Day, baby. I cannot wait for that. We've got a great pay-per-view. Oba Femi defending the NXT Championship in a triple threat so far against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Got another triple threat for the Women's Championship, it looks like, coming up as well. We've got Bayley, Roxanne, and Julia, the Beautiful Madness, coming up. That's going to be a very, very good match. I am very much looking forward to next week on NXT as well, by the way, where Dirty Dango yourself is going to be challenging for the Heritage Cup against Lexus King. Anyway.
I love that we're on the same page for Lexus King. It's just Lexus.
God, I don't even want to talk about him. Anyway, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss any of that content, guys. Hit the bell so all of the videos pop up on your notifications. Thumbs up the video. Go follow us on all our different social media platforms, Instagram, X, and TikTok at Outcasted OC. Everyone else's bios will be in the description, so make sure you go follow all the individual channels as well. But for now, guys, we got ready to rumble, we rumbled, and now we outie. Fatu, I love you, Outcasted. Peace out.
I love you so low. Deuces, ooses.
Oh, man.